terms, and then we will be getting into the internal view or inner view of a search process, right? So let me pose this question, the very first question, which is why do we search actually, right? So naturally, whenever we are talking about the search process, the first question is that why do we search actually in general or in a daily to daily life routine? Why do we search? The first question, because yes, so after that only we can realize that we need to facilitate these reasons, or maybe to handle these reasons, we will be designing, or we need a such system, right? So eventually the need for such system is basically driven by these two aspects. First aspect is that why do we conduct searches, for information search or maybe any kind of search. Second reason is how do you search. So these two are the more main reasons, key reasons for the evolution of such systems, right? So primarily, if you basically introspect actually, then you will see that these are the primary reasons. So the first reason for conducting any kind of search, it could be information search or it could be any type of search. The first reason is naturally to enhance knowledge, to enhance awareness about uh, enhance knowledge, or enhance basically insight about any aspect of life. So it could be about gaining a knowledge or gaining an insight about certain area. It could be a gaining an awareness or knowledge about certain aspect of life, right? So the first reason is the seeking. That's what the primarily says. So the first reason is, we used to say, is a seeking, right? Seeking is basically is a term actually which is often used by the information scientists. So in the world of information science, we used to use this term seeking. Seeking means you are going for information search with the intention of learning something, right? So we will be getting into these behaviors in the later classes. But seeking is one of the nature. Seeking is basically saying, okay, if you are going for information seeking, it means you will be searching for the information. That is first part. Second, you will be learning from it, and then you will be applying that knowledge onto the next subsequent search. So it is referred as a seeking, right? So seeking is one of the important aspect, and it is the first aspect we realize in the information search. Second could be the social awareness. Social awareness means so you will be naturally looking for some kind of survival. So at each aspect of life, there will be this you can say phenomena involved called information search, and its use of survival, right? So basically, social awareness also, we used to conduct different kind of searches. So we used to have ourselves updated about any topic or anything. So the second reason, primary reason for information search or any kind of search, is about or related to some kind of social awareness or maybe for social relevance. The third, which is very important aspect as far as computer science student concerned. We used to go for these kind of searches to develop a complex intellectual skills. This could be like you are trying to learn a particular programming language, or you are trying to learn a particular concept like machine learning, AI. So for that also, we used to go to the Google Scholar or any kind of scientific search system, and we used to learn about the latest research, or maybe in the form of article, latest different blogs. So this could be one of the reason also. So after getting first two reasons, enhancing knowledge and for the social awareness, this could be a very specific reason, because only few percentage of human beings are going for this kind of reasons, right? And last, it could be like it could be a privileged state, that we are trying to be on the updated state of knowledge. So that's why we are going for search. So these are the four primary reasons why we are conducting. So on daily to daily life, or maybe at any part of life, if you are conducting a search or if you are searching for something, these four could be a reason, right? So this is the first aspect, because for which we have designed various search systems, right? The another aspect of it is like how. So when we realize that, okay, we are conducting searches on daily to daily life, and the second aspect is that how we are conducting. So this is about how you are doing it, how you are conducting, how you are performing search. So initially, if you do not have any idea about the possible topic, possible the search area, uh, it is very difficult to conduct research, right? So this phenomena or this state we are facing on daily to daily life, if I give you an assignment that you need to find out the possible reasons for coronavirus. So you will be, it will be very difficult because you will be going to the Google search, and you will be applying a lot of keywords on the Google search and try to read a lot of documents. Then based on these documents, you will be going for next searches, subsequent searches actually. So this is happening because we don't have any much idea about the domain. Domain means possibly where the answer could be lying, possibly where the answers could be stored or available. So to the search domain, so that could be search domain, because I have given you assignment for, so to answer this assignment there could be a lot of documents available in the internet, but we are not able to reach to that particular set of document directly. So we are applying a lot of keywords to reach to that particular portion, right? So initially, so this is the state called so intents are not clear, search intents or search interest is not clear. So initially, when we begin with searching these kind of scenarios, we will be facing a lot of uncertainty, uncertainty of uh, your possible query words, initial query words, right? So uncertainty on the possible results is another aspect, that is different scenario. But initially, because we don't have much idea about the initial search or search domain, your interest or search interest are not clear, right? And even at the secondary state, you can say we don't have any idea about this possible relation between your keyword and the possible next possible answers, right? So that's why we are using this term called uncertainty, right? So this uncertainty is playing a lot of role. So in this situation, basically no understanding about how you input query affects results. So this, in this case, let me add here. So it is due to uncertainty on intents. Intents means your sent interest actually, right? So this is mainly the scenario which we are facing in any kind of search, right? Second thing is basically in this situation where we do not have any idea about the initial search intent, we used to apply ill-phrased query. Ill-phrased query means we used to impose any random keyword. I mean, initially, if we have something, if we have initially some keywords with us, we used to apply these keywords. So these keywords are not maybe not correctly mapped with the domain possible results in the next phase, but we used to apply these random keywords. So that's why these keywords are referred as a ill phrase. They are not planned systematically. You are simply applying these keywords because you don't have any idea about the search domain. So we used to apply these in keywords which are referred as an imprecise or ill-phrased query, and these ill-phrased or ad hoc queries are referred as a imprecise. It is because we don't have precise knowledge about the possible intent, possible search interest, right? So we don't have any idea about the possible or related keywords, right? So we used to use these ad hoc keywords, right? So this is what it is happening whenever we don't have much idea about the search domain. We apply ill-phrased queries because it is there that we don't have any precise idea about our search interest, right? So in this situation, if we apply ill-phrased query, not a systematic query, your search process, your search for any particular answer may be extended to the multiple iterations. So for getting answer for a simple assignment, it could be possible that you will be going for maybe 10 or 20 queries. So these query can be in a sequentially happening, or maybe abruptly it is happening in a new way. So for this situation, you will be applying multiple queries, and system will be generating answer for these queries. So these interactions will be extended. These interactions will be happening in a basically multiple query to result scenario, right? So this is just because we don't have much idea about our intents, uncertainty on the intents, right? So so this is the typical scenario whenever we go for search. And basically what current systems are doing. So current systems are helping you to achieve your search. Current systems are basically designed to help you in the search in the manner of query results paradigm. So it is, this paradigm is basically said as a uh, the first reference paradigm, which says whenever you apply a query, system will be simply giving you the result. That's it. So this is equivalent to any database model where we will be using SQL queries and system is generating results based on that query. So similarly, information retrieval systems are also made in this version, that uh, you will be sending a keyword and system are giving you the lot of results, right? So this is the traditional IR system. So whenever a question is raised to you that, okay, can you tell me the nature of traditional IR system, traditional information retrieval system, or traditional search system, you can say it is based on query result paradigm, in which a user will be simply submitting a query and system will be giving you a result for that. But modern IR systems are something beyond it. So after submitting a query, you will get a result, and after, so because after system is giving you the results, possible set of results, you will be looking at these set of results, and out of these given results, you will be doing something, and you will be performing some behavior. So modern IR systems are doing basically observing your behaviors on the results and using these behaviors on the results, on the first result, on the result of first query, and they will be using this result behavior on the results for the retrieval of the second set of result, right? So in the modern system, most of the modern search systems are basically utilizing your behavior on the previous result, and basically supply the results or retrieve the results for the uh, next query, and while retrieving the results for the second query, they will be using this behavior, right? So you might have heard about this term called pseudo relevance, right? Pseudo relevance is something which is basically indirect relevance. So this pseudo relevance, so because your results for your query will be fetched or retrieved by using relevance, that is for sure. That's what we have taken in the study class, that from the set of documents in the corpus, system will be getting you first 20 documents based on some matching mechanism. So to get these 20 records, these 20 documents, system will be using relevance, direct relevance, and to get some of the additional result, or maybe to get to get organized these 20 documents, system will be using the semantics, right? So semantics, so sometimes semantics are used to arrange the documents, sometimes semantics are used to get the additional set of results. So addition to these 20, you might get 5 or 6 documents also, right? So this additional set of documents, these arranged set of documents will be performed or will be achieved by using these pseudo relevance, and pseudo relevance is might be coming from the semantics of the documents, or maybe semantics or maybe behavior data from the previous result review, right? So traditional systems are only supporting, or it is based on entirely based on the query result paradigm, where simple system is simply giving you the results for the possible query. But in the modern IR systems, it is something beyond it. So it will become like, so you can, if you can see precisely, it is said as let me type here only. Modern IR systems are based on, let me type, query, result, then review, then result, something like that, right? So now you can see we have extended these pods. So it is now extended. So this is your first iteration. So if you apply a query, simple query, user query, you will get the immediate result, first set of result. So after this query, you will get the result naturally. And whatever observation you have, whatever activity you perform on these set of results, it will be utilized, right? So now this review phase has been added. So review phase is the phase where system is observing your behavior on the result one, actually. Let me point it out here correctly. Result one, and these behaviors will be used. Your behaviors will be used during this review phase, and these basically let me write out here, review phase, and these behaviors will be utilized while fetching the result 2, right? Result 2. So these are kind of phenomena which is used in the various modern IR systems. So if you take uh, these basic recommendation systems as application of modern IR, you can easily relate, right? So if you go for any e-commerce companies like Amazon and Flipkart or anything, so they are maintaining the information about the previous purchase, previous view. So all these behaviors are maintained in the profile or maybe in the background, and while suggesting the new product or new articles, they are utilizing these behaviors, right? So this review thing is very important. This review thing or maybe interaction with the data is widely utilized uh, by the systems, modern systems. So recommended system is one of the application of modern IR, right? So we will be discussing or opening much about this particular modern IR system, because our whole discussion is based on modern IR systems, right? So we will be taking each and every aspect of it, right? So this is something you need to always uh, keep with you, that these are the two properties. So how do we search and why do we search? These are the two reasons for the evolution of different search system, right? We are not pointing out towards the uh, IR. You cannot claim that these two are the reasons to have a modern IR or traditional IR. These two are the reasons for the evolution of search system, right? So after this, you can have, okay. Naturally, we have two reasons for that. For basically having the search systems. Now you can now relate that. Okay, whenever we are conducting, whenever some question is given to you, whenever assignment is given to you, you might be applying, or you might be facing two situations, right? So while starting the search or while conducting a search, you might have two possible scenarios, and these two are the two extremes. The first extreme is that uh, for conducting a search, you have a specific goal, right? A specific goal means naturally assignment is given, you need to have answers for the particular assignment. After that, after having a specific goal, you can easily reach up to the possible results because you have some idea about the possible results. So the first scenario for the search is with a specific goal, you have some idea about the results, so results will be also expected. So a specific goal and expected results. So this is a very close, very finite, and very certain scenario, right? So that is one scenario. Second scenario could be you don't have any specific idea about the search goals, right? And because of that, you don't have any idea about the search results. So this is second extreme, right? So we have two extremes. One extreme is where you are having idea about both goal in search interest or search intent, and the expected result, expected documents. The second scenario is the second extreme, which is you don't have any idea about the possible search interest or search goal, and you don't have any idea or any clue about the possible results, right? So the very first set of for very first scenario says as it is referred as a focused search, because we have a specific goal, we have a specific set of possible results, so it is referred as a focused search, right? Because both end are basically very absolute, very certain, so you can refer them as a focused search. Second scenario, where we don't have idea about the possible results and possible goals, so you can say it is open-ended search, because both ends are open, both ends are uncertain, right? So you can say this as a exploratory search. So there are various behaviors in between them. So in the tomorrow's lectures, next lecture we will be discussing about the different search behaviors. So these different behaviors will be falling in between these two boundaries, right? So at one end we will be having lookup search, focus search. At both end we will be second end we will be having exploratory search. So between these two end points, we will be having different behaviors, and I'm sure you might have some idea about these behaviors, right? So the first end, where we have focused thing of absolute or certain specific ends, is referred as a lookup search. right? Lookup search, or maybe you can say as a fact search. So if I give you assignment that can you find out the phone numbers of the hotels in the Kurukshetra city. So naturally, you have this idea about the. So if you go for the search system or any kind of Google search, you will be directly looking at the hotels in the Kurukshetra, and then within that, within each results, you will be directly pointing out the phone numbers, something like that, phone numbers or address, something like that. So you have clear idea, clear interest, or clear certainty on the goals and the possible results, and within results you have a precise idea about which particular information or which particular detail is important for me. So these kind of searches are often referred as a lookup search, because you have a very precise idea about the specific term which needs to be posed on the search system, and a possible piece of information, piece of detail which you will be carrying out from each result. Right, that is one scenario. Second scenario is basically, we have already mentioned that if I give you assignment that, okay, can you find out the reasons for corona infection in the world. So yes, so you might have something with you that, okay, let's find out with first keyword as the reasons for corona, but that not be sufficient, right? So I have asked you, given you the assignment, reasons for, maybe, right? So the second scenario is very difficult. It is because it requires lot of interactions with systems. So that's why it is emphasized that the second type of searches, which is exploratory search, requires extensive cognitive effort. So cognitive effort means you, along with this mechanical keyword selection and imposing into the search system and looking at the system, looking at the possible results, you need to apply some kind of curation. So curation is kind of activity which requires extraction of information, then refinement of it, then basically applying again this information to the search system. Then so it is basically involve multiple different you can say the processing. So in case of exploratory search, in case of the second scenario of search, you will be interacting with the search system many times. You will be gathering a lot of informations. Then after gathering information, you will be precisely extracting some part of it, and then again you are utilizing these part of information to conduct the next search, right? And you don't know how much times you need to interact with search systems. So because this certainty on the results are not clear, you cannot claim that, okay, I have got the answer for the assignment. So it is in case of kind of expertise. So you might have some basic idea about these things, and so that you can easily start the search and you can easily conclude the search, right? So these are the two probable scenarios. So this is what we have already pointed out, that nowadays this modern information retrieval or modern search systems are shifting towards from query result scenario to query result review scenario, right? And this is happening just because we are keeping a user in the loop. It is referred as a human in the loop, right? So it is basically becoming more search more towards user, towards inclined towards a human, right? So with this, basically we have correctly opened the basic aspects. Now we will be opening up the internal view of a search process, right? So at this point, I am raising a question to you and expecting you to answer, maybe in the chat box or maybe in the audio mode. And can you tell me the possible impression of the, so let me raise this question. Can you tell me the impression about search process, how overall search process will be conducted if you consider uh, human, user, and information system, and this whole world in the picture. So let's take three entities to explain or to understand the search process, overall search process. If we have three entities, one first entity is this entire universe or entire world where we are living, and second is your information system where these informations are kept, and third entity is the user or the human being who are conducting this search. So by considering these three entities, can you explain the search process, how search process, overall search process will be conducted, or how this whole search process is happening? Can you tell me that? So let's take a 1 or 2 minute time for this. So you can enable your audio and share this thing with me. So I'm waiting for your answers. Yes, anyone?
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, the user should search for the information based on the keywords.
Okay, that's okay. So this is mechanical process, right? So you need to consider these three entities: human as a user, information system, and this entire universe. Because we are taking a larger view on this search process.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Yes, please.
So first of all, a user, suppose whatever he or she wants to search. So first of all, we will decide about the keywords. Then in the information system, there will be some information regarding that particular keywords. The whole world is going to search. Like many people had already searched about those particular areas. So from that information which is collected from the word will be somewhere on the cloud or on the internet. So corresponding to the user's keywords, the whatever depending upon the frequency, like many other users are going to click on searching for the same keywords. So that will be appear on the website, like
Right.
whatever on which search engine we are going to search. So accordingly, so when then the particular user will choose like whatever search he is going to find out, like relevant to the keywords that he or she is going to search.
Right. Okay, so that is somehow related, and that is somehow capturing the different aspects possible. We can take one or more answers. Kanaya says in the chat box, first idea what to search, then name of problem, then decide from where this is, then find there, and then okay. So let there are a lot of then and there. Okay, somehow we can take one or two more. Jatin, what is your answer? Jatin. Okay, we can go for. Okay, let's raise one or two students. Salil, because I do not have heard a voice from these some of the students. So let's try. Mic is not working. It's okay. Sankar, do you have any answer or Salil? So it is important to have some kind of interaction at least in the audio mode. Maybe Anamika, Anamika, can you share something?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please. So what is your possible answer?
So first have we have to search the what we have to search.
Okay.
So then no idea actually.
No idea. Okay, so because we are opening about these processes, these phenomena, like how information retrieval is done. So we have partially hinted about the different aspect of search. So you must have something to say, right? Whenever these questions are raised to you. So okay, Arbaz says firstly humans are users will put his query in the information retrieval system, and it is the duty of IR system to extract the most relevant result out of the universe. Okay, so it is somehow reciprocal of it. Right. So I can say only this thing that each of the students should have some kind of uh, hint or answers, right? So because from the next class I will be raising your name and expecting you to answer, expecting you to have some kind of reply, because it will not work, it will not be, I mean, good impression to have this kind of understanding that when the instructor says raise a question, you are not responding, right? And that is first thing. Second thing is you should be ready with the mic. It is not it should not be like this, that you can say have this excuse that said mic is not working, right? Because we are expecting that students should always be ready with these kind of arrangements. So, and this is something you can have at least, right? So let's not go into this part, and because this is something we are expecting as a best, right? So because we have gone through one semester with this arrangement, and now this semester is also running with this arrangement, so you should be having these facilities with you. So okay, let's go back to the notes, and here you can see. I hope it is visible in this view. Yes. So this is capturing the whole entire situation. So let me later. Yeah. So now it is perfect. Let me drag it here. It's here. Okay. So I hope these instructions, these text are visible to you, and you can say here. Uh, so we have so primarily these three entities are clearly visible. So this inner portion or innermost portion is something related to user presence, right? So it is something which is referring towards the user's presence in the search process, because user is always there in the search process, but not it he or she may not be appearing in the search process physically, because whatever presence we have of user in the search system, it is in the form of cognitive presence. Cognitive means he is applying something selection of keywords, something like gaining of knowledge from the result, and he is capturing a lot of information, lot of details from to and fro, in input and output, and collecting these details and applying something onto the search process. So users presence in the search process is more or less, it is logical, it is not a physical, it is not a mechanical, right? That's what we are. So whenever it is asked that, okay, can you explain the search process, overall search process, or any kind of search process, there will be naturally three entities. One entity is this real world. So this whole universe or this whole world is one of the important entity. Second is naturally information system or search system, where these documents are available, these documents are kept, right? So naturally, IR system is basically having a set of document collection. Then we have these objects. So each document is now having some kind of presence as as a object, right? So we have two entities, world and world and this information system or search system. Second, we have this user. Third, we have this user presence as a logical entity. So now, naturally, whenever we are going for search, possibly to the search system, whenever we are going to a search system to search information, naturally we have a task given, right? Task given, it may be a simple task, it may be assignment from the teacher, it may be a some other objective. So this task, this search task is basically coming from the real world situation. See, W is the first. So W is the task, search task situation, right? You can read here. So search task situation always belongs to the real world. So so this assignment by instructor is given to you by in the real world. You might have some objective to learn something, like you want to learn about machine learning. So this learning to so this understanding the machine learning techniques is coming from the real world. So it is a real world situation always. So your search task is basically is a real world situation. So after understanding about, after getting these real world situations, search task situation, you might having your impression. So once I impose assignment to you, once you decide to learn about machine learning, the first impression of this real world task W have an impression inside your cognitive mind. So this inner block indicates your mental space actually, right? So for this W, which is a real world task, after getting this task, the very first thing your mind basically conduct is to develop a CW. CW is basically a perception of work, right? So after listening to the instructor, okay, you have got the idea that this is the assignment, this is a question, this is a task I have to perform. So the very first impression of W is CW, which is a cognitive perception of the work which is available in the real world. Now after CW, so first impression of work W, after getting CW, the next immediate task in a user mind is basically is to develop or to create this very precise impression, which is called as a search need N, right? N is basically here, it is information need. it is a need. So basically, after developing a perception about the bird, the next task which your mind is doing is to develop the needs, because you have got some assignment, you have got impression about the possible assignment. The next thing your mind is doing, okay, let's find out the answers, let's find out the possible information details, possible information objects where I could have answers for this CW, right? So after developing into this internal mental space or maybe internal cognitive space, the next task is to develop or to refine these CW into N. So N is the search need, N is the you can say search interest. So like in the previous notes, or maybe 10 minutes or 20 minutes back, we are referring this term called search interest, search domain. So these all things are captured into the N term, right? So because N is something which will be converted or maybe get converted into the form of query. So you can see here, this CW is now transformed into N, and now N is transformed, N which is an information need is now transformed into the form of query word Q. So Q is something you can say is a query term, keyword term, which we will be applying onto the search system. So like whenever we are going to the Google search, we are having some impression about the word, and exactly on the systems, whenever we are sitting on the laptops and our desktop systems, we used to have some impression and we used to type a keyword, right? So this there is a very strong and very close relation between N and this Q, right? So sometimes whatever you thought about N, you directly map or type that keyword onto the systems. So it is not necessary that we will have N and Q are as a different. Sometimes whatever you thought about N is directly typed, right? Because you have a very precise idea about that, right? So this N and Q are very close terms, but the difference is that this N, which is an information need, or which is again a transformation of CW, more refined, more precise idea about CW, is always belonging to the internal space of the user. And this Q term is a physical object. It is a physical thing which is happening in the physical or real world, and it is naturally submitted to the information table system. So after submitting Q in the form of keyword, maybe, right, Q is a query actually. So Q is query which will be having maybe keywords or maybe anything, maybe sentences, maybe paragraphs also. So nowadays we are getting these systems like, okay, we are getting some semantic search systems, we are taking images as an input also, audio as an input also. So query can be of any type. It could be a keyword query, it could be an image query, it could be a voice, audio, anything, right? So after submitting this Q, you will get some set of results R, right? Some set of results R. So after getting Q, your information system or maybe your search system is trying to retrieve some set of results R based on. So now naturally, to retrieve some set of results, you need to apply, or maybe search system need to apply some form of relevance, some form of matching criteria, right? So this you can say A is written here. To get the result R for query Q, you need to apply some kind of relevance mechanism or matching mechanism. Here we are referring as a A. A is what? Algorithmic relevance. Algorithmic relevance means it is the most common, or it is the traditional way of relevance. So why we are referring this as algorithmic? Because we can calculate it, right? Because we are having this query Q as an input, and we have some documents stored in the storage or corpus based on some algorithmic mechanism, or based on some statistical value or maybe numerical value. We can compute or calculate the matching, right? So that's why we are saying it as an algorithmic, or you can say it is a mechanical matching or mechanical relevance also, because to compute this relevance or matching, we have something. So we have this matching mechanism, or in the second scenario we have this number of terms matching, something like that. So you can plan this relevance, you can plan this level of relevance by having some kind of algorithm, right? So it is a most mechanical way of achieving the relevance. So A is referred as the most traditional way of relevance, or maybe relevance measure or relevance mechanism, right? So this is one flow of achieving the search process. This is the traditional or fundamental way of achieving the search process. So after getting W, you will be developing CW inside you. Then CW is refined into N, and then N is matched, or N is transformed in the form of Q, and this Q query in the form of keywords will be applied to the search system. And for this query, for this keyword, system will be retrieving some results in the form of R, right? And to retrieve this set of R, system will be applying some kind of relevance mechanism, which is referred as the algorithmic relevance. So this is one simple flow. This is one simple iteration. So if you see query result paradigm in the traditional systems, to achieve this query result paradigm, you need to have this simple flow from W to CW, CW to N to Q, Q to R, something like that, right? But this is a traditional situation where a user is simply, so if you are conducting lookup search, there you will be having this scenario that from W to CW, CW to N to Q, and from Q you will get R, something like that. But if you consider this second situation beyond lookup search, right? So this is something we are conducting in the modern information retrieval system, modern search systems. And in the modern information retrieval or maybe modern search system, we are considering that after conducting this first search process from W to CW, CW to N to Q, and then R, you will be applying some behavior on the result R, and after performing something onto R, or maybe you will be reading these results documents, or you may be observing the results R, and after gaining information, after accumulating some information from result R, now you can claim that for the same task W, your CW is now changed. That's what is happening. So what is happening after reading the result of R1 set result? After going to the result R1, you have now your CW evolve into CW2. So initially we have CW1. So work is same. W is not changing. W is same. Now after reading the result of R1, your CW has been evolved. It will become CW2, right? CW2. So after getting CW2, evolve or changed or updated cognitive perception about the task, because task is same. So now only the change is happening in the CW, cognitive perception, right? So work is same, assignment is same, but after reading the few results of the first query, you might have now your knowledge, cognitive perception about work has been changed. Now after updating the CW, naturally your needs are also changed. Now N is revised. Now after N is revised, you can apply the second query Q2, right? So this could be a continuous phenomenon also. So after CW2, you can have N2, then Q2, then R2. Then after observing our result set 2 R2, you can have CW3. So likewise, you can have a continuous evolutions in such CW, cognitive perceptions. And this whole process of evolution or updation on the cognitive perception of the work is called information seeking, because we are the first objective we are conducting here is to observe or accumulate the knowledge inside the human mind, and based on that you are basically getting exposed to the new set of results. So this is the second scenario, right? First scenario is that after getting W, you can have CW, you can have N, then you can have Q, then you can have R. Second scenario first search is what? It is getting evolved CWs. So this is what something beyond to the lookup search. So lookup search was the first scenario, which was having only one interaction. But uh, in case of other scenarios of search where we are conducting continuous interaction between CW and the systems, where we are having CW evolve CW at each step, you can see we are having new n, new q, and new r. So it is the second scenario. It is the scenario beyond the lookup search, right? So after getting revised CW, you will be applying revised n, all these things. So this is the second scenario. Now, designing a search system to take care about this second scenario is difficult. Why it is difficult? Because to get the result for a particular query q by using algorithm relevance A is not a difficult situation. This is what we are doing in the traditional systems also. But modern systems are trying to capture the user's behavior on the result. They are trying to develop a relation between uh, your needs, right? And here you can see there is a relevance called P. So P is what? It is a pertinent relevance. Pertinent relevance. So it is a relevance between. So A is what? It is algorithm relevance. It could be planned by having some kind of matching or some kind of statistical information between query and possible objects. But pertinent relevance is basically it is a conceptual or it is a logical relevance which search system can plan, search system can derive by having impression, by having a mechanism to derive some value between n which is inside the human mind but with the object. So here you can see for deriving this p pertinent relevance you can plan a pseudo relevance mechanism, right? So in this situation you can arrange some kind of mechanisms. Pseudo relevance is the one mechanism for achieving this pertinent relevance, right? And similarly more recent developments in the search domain has happened that most of the systems are trying to develop a relevance relation between objects, information object, and CW, and this is something very difficult task by SR. So SR is the third form of relevance, which is called situational relevance. Now, to get the SR, you can have some mechanism. So though it is very difficult to achieve this part of relevance SR, but if you can claim that if you claim that your system is the modern information system, if your system is modern information system or modern search system, you cannot have only algorithm relevance. You should have some mechanism to adapt or to have achieve this P, which is a pertinent relevance. You could have some mechanism to achieve this SR, situational relevance. So you can carefully observe here that for any search system, for any information retrieval system, uh, getting a algorithm, getting a provision for these relevance mechanisms, these relevance measures is uh, something is the portion where these systems can be evolved, right? These systems could have some mechanisms to achieve these relevance mechanisms. So if you compare two search system or three search systems, it is the relevance mechanism or relevance measures which is making a difference, right? If you compare semantic search system and Google search system or Google Scholar systems, the difference lies in this part, the part of relevance measures. Other mechanisms, other procedures, or maybe other computing blocks can be of similar nature, but they are generating different information just because they are having different relevance mechanism, right? So rest part of the search systems are similar, right? And this is something as a novel on each search system. So I hope it is clear now that for any kind of search process, for any search system, this is the view of search process, and these are the different blocks uh, which will be interacting or which will be happening in the background, and this is how these relevance has been defined. Naturally, for each relevance you can have your own formulation, right? So we will be discussing in maybe in the 20th or maybe 21st lecture about how to plan a different relevance mechanism, right? But here you can have this the conceptual representation of search process. So conceptual view of search process. Now we can go for okay, so here is a basic idea given that for a user search task W, uh, with a cognitive perception CW, information needs and evolves iteratively. So evolves iteratively means after each iteration it will be evolving based on the interpretation or on the retrieve information of OW object. Information retrieval is based on three implicit relevance. So implicit means, so there is a term called implicit relevance. It is not explicitly applied, right? So these are the implicit. Explicitly relevance means you can have a mechanism uh, to basically bookmark a particular result, right? So that could become a explicit reason, right? So let's have a brief last discussion about a particular process. So this is a, you can say, summarized impression about the search process. So, if you can summarize the search process, we could have these search phases or search context, right? So, when you begin a search, uh, we used to apply remembering part, right? So when assignment is given to you, you will be recalling the possible keywords you have in your mind, right? So when assignment is given to you go to a search system, you tries to recall, you tries to remember, or you tries to apply this remember process to recall or to be maybe have a keyword which could be applied on the search system, right? So what we do, we used to apply remembering process. And for remembering, for applying this remember process, you used to utilize this what prior knowledge of the search. So if you have anything with you from the previous searches or from the previous uh, knowledge base, you used to retrieve that particular keyword from your human mind, from your memory, and apply it to the search system. So after applying this keyword on the search system, naturally on the search system will be giving you some set of results. So after getting the results, you are now in the second phase of the search, which is what? Thinking. So after getting some set of results from the search system, you start applying this process called thinking. Thinking means it is kind of accumulation of knowledge. So yeah, so whatever task you have in your mind, you start correlating these results, search system results, with that task, with the dominant task. So you are applying some kind of curation, right? So you are basically enhancing your present search experience. So search experience we have naturally with us before this result also, but now after getting some results in the front of you, and your perception about the work in your mind, you start imposing or developing a link between these results and your search experiences. So after performing this particular thinking process and evolving search experience, the next possible state for you is that after reading all the results in the screen, and after having this idea that okay, now I have developed new understanding, now I am saturated enough, you can start, or you start imagining about the possible set of result, right? So the third possible cognitive action, or maybe your uh, mental activity which is performing, it is imagination of the next possible result. So after reading these results, you have evolved your search experience, and after evolving search experience, you can now start imagining, or start observing, or start anticipating about the possible set of results, right? That is happening while we are conducting a search process. So these three phases, you can say remember, think, and imagine, and based on these three actions, you can have uh, knowledge state also. Like first, for remembering we have one knowledge state, for thinking we have one knowledge state, and for imagining also we have one knowledge state. So these three situations are referred as a three search context. So we have three contexts. Context means the three situations we have while we are conducting a search process. So this is about the search process. In the next lecture, so I am closing this sharing right now. So you can say basically these three situations we will be discussing in detail in the upcoming classes, right? Because these three contexts are very important, and these three contexts will be helping you to achieve some kind of modern information retrieval systems. So this particular lecture basically exposed the different aspect of search process. And naturally, uh, in the beginning of the lecture, I have pointed out that information retrieval is a part of search process. It is a part of search process. And today we have seen the overall conceptual view of such process. So there could be the W thing, there could be CW thing. So there are various elements involved into, but retrieval system or retrieval process is basically tackling some of the aspect of your search process. So search process is our search system or search engine is the bigger entity. Retrieval process or retrieval systems are the smaller entity. So retrieval system is handling some aspect of search systems, right? So you need to have this idea very clearly, right? On the next lecture, we will be discussing the different search behaviors. After that, we will be getting into the retrieval systems or retrieval process and its element inside it, right? So I hope things are clear which we have discussed today. And if you have anything to ask, you can ask right now.